Have you ever lived a whole day, then realized that you actually never lived it? We wake up, we rush, we solve, we plan, and then worry. By the time sun sets, the soul sets, and the soul never actually got a chance to speak. Hi, soul travelers, I'm Beatrice, and this space is where we pull back the veil on everyday life to hear what the soul has been trying to tell us all along. Tonight, we are listening to Harold Clem, the spiritual leader of Ekanka, as he speaks on a teaching titled Bless This Day. Let's dive into the talk, and I will share reflections that might stir something in you that has been silent for years.
The title for the talk this evening is Bless This Day. And I guess perhaps sometimes life carries us along so fast that we don't have time to think about the moment, and so that often we overlook the blessings of the day. We're always thinking, what do I have to do? After work I've got to shop, and after I finish shopping, then get something together for dinner, for whoever's at home and all this. And things go so fast that sometimes we're just in a constant whirl, almost a whirl of unconscious living. And if someone asked us and said, well, what did you like about today? You look back at them and say, what do you mean? Today was like any other. I was just talking with someone. A woman has recently lost her job because the company folded. So she ended up working at home and was planting some trees. And the neighbor is 83 years old. He's just an energetic man, likes to work, won't accept any money. He's always offering to help people do this project or that project. And so while they were putting in the trees, they also had to put in a water line, the couple that owns the property. So this old gentleman had offered to help them. Somewhere during the day, the old gentleman had come to her and he said to her, why don't you go home and take a rest? Because he needed to. But she didn't know that, so she says, no, when we asked you to help, it wasn't in our mind to have you do all the work. No, I'm going to stay. And so she stayed, trying to keep up with him, and he tried to keep up with her, and they both practically destroyed each other in the afternoon. But after a while, I guess when they got the stories together, at least some of them got a little laugh about it. But it's one of those times when you look back and you say, bless this day. Why? Because there were people giving to each other, just giving to each other, sharing work. And of course, there were elements they didn't know that were in this game plan, like they were just doing it to please each other and to work hard and not be the slacker. And then, of course, they were both almost pushing themselves a little bit too far, but everything worked out. And so at the end, if they had wanted to, if they had thought to, if they hadn't been too tired, they could have said, bless this day, But sometimes there is a scheme or a plan to life that allows things to happen that are to happen. And that's why often when we go through our days, and it's a day of hardship or trouble, we say, why do these things happen to me? Why are these things happening? What a terrible day. But they really aren't terrible. And I was talking to this couple tonight I mentioned earlier that were planting the trees, and the wife, she was trying to keep up then with their neighbor, this 83-year-old man. But the husband of this couple said, one thing they've learned in ACK, that even though she lost her job and other things, and before she even got that job, she was looking here, there, and everywhere for that job, unless you know about ACK, and the teachings of the Holy Spirit that everything happens for a purpose, to lift soul higher and give it more experience, so that one day it can become a co-worker with God. This is the purpose of soul. This is why you're here. It's not to endure this life until you die and then go to heaven and everything will be hunky-dory after that. That's not what life is about. This world is filled with individuals, souls. They're at all different stages or levels of consciousness, each doing what they think is the most important thing for them to do at that very moment. Sometimes people act selfishly. They think they're acting only for their own interest to gain something for themselves. But inadvertently, they're also many times doing something to benefit other people. Because this earth, and indeed the worlds beyond earth, this earth is filled with lights of God, individuals. And most of them don't realize that they too are having the experiences in everyday life which are going to give them the experience, good and bad, that will make them fit someday to be a co-worker with God.
It's strange, isn't it? How we can move throughout an entire day and never once recognized it as sacred. We don't notice how we live on autopilot. Let me ask you something. When last did you bless a day before judging it? Because many of us only bless a day when it's comfortable. But what about the tiring day, the confusing day, the day that doesn't go your way, the day that forces you to face yourself? Harold told a story of two people helping each other, both trying not to look weak, both pretending they could carry more than what their strength allowed. How many times have we done the same? We don't want to look like we need rest. We don't want to look like we need help. We don't want to look like we are the ones slowing things down. But spiritually, what are we running from? Approval or control? Fear of being seen as human. Maybe it's in noticing the love hidden inside the work. So here is a question many souls are afraid to ask out loud. What if the reason you don't feel God in your life is because you don't slow down long enough to meet Him in your day? And another one, are you truly living or you're just surviving your schedule? This is part 1 of our talk, Bless This Day, and you don't want to miss our part 2. In part 2, we will go deeper in exploring the purpose of life, soul, growth, and what it really means to become a co-worker with God. And please, if you want to join us in part 2, hit the notification bell so that you get notification whenever we upload our part 2. And remember, as you step into the day or evening, take a moment to just bless the day, or just to say bless the day, or may the blessings be. Thank you all for watching. I love you all.